In South African cinema, the portrayal of crime is never just about the act itself. It is a reflection of a society grappling with its past and its turbulent present. My name is Sims, and welcome to the Venting Space. Films and series like Tsotsi, Yizo, Jerusalema, and Gaz'lam do not simply present criminals as monsters. Instead, they delve into the complex socio-economic systems that produce them. This analysis critically examines how these works navigate key themes in South African discourse, using the provided academic insights to frame their narratives.
Ja, dat is so Mzansi vandag.
The post-apartheid context is the undeniable foundation for understanding crime in these stories. As Gail Super's research indicates, crime in South Africa is constituted by and constitutive of power relations within society. The legacy of apartheid, characterized by enforced segregation and economic disenfranchisement, created the conditions for the criminal environments depicted. Tsotsi is a profound exploration of this. The film's protagonist is not a born villain, but a product of profound trauma and a dehumanizing township life. His hardened exterior is a direct result of a system that abandoned him. Similarly, Yizo shocked audiences by refusing to sanitize the township ecosystem. It showed how failing schools, rampant poverty, and absent opportunities actively manufacture figures like Papa Action. Their criminality is presented not as an innate evil, but as a logical and tragic survival strategy within a broken system. This aligns with Super's argument that the construction of crime is deeply tied to societal power dynamics, where the criminal is often a symptom of a much larger disease. These narratives frequently walk a fine line between humanization and glamorization, leading to what can be described as a spectacle of violence. The academic text on crime and media notes that media can normalize and glorify violence. Jerusalema exemplifies this tension. The rise of Lucky Kunene is framed with a certain cinematic coolness. His ambition and cunning are seductive.
During community outreach, tenants were incentivized to exercise their democratic rights, to give us their money. In cases where a landlord would defy the will of the people, a chief of conflict resolution was promptly appointed.
The film borrows from global gangster tropes, but infuses them with local meaning, presenting building hijackings as a form of entrepreneurial empowerment against economic exclusion. This creates a moral ambiguity where the audience is invited to understand and even root for his quest for dignity. However, the violence is not entirely sanitized. Its consequences are felt, complicating the glamour. The question becomes whether the film critiques the system that created him or simply celebrates the symptom. This portrayal contributes to a complex public perception of crime. Super's work highlights how crime statistics and their measurement are themselves political acts, shaping public anxiety. The media's focus on violent crimes, as noted in Crime and Media, creates a perception gap where the public's fear far outstrips the statistical reality. South African films, by focusing intensely on violent narratives, can inadvertently fuel this moral panic. They make the criminal hyper-visible, reinforcing the archetype of the dangerous young black male. Yet simultaneously, by providing a context for this figure, they challenge the very panic to which they contribute. They ask the audience to look beyond the headlines and see the person, thereby complicating the simple narratives of good versus evil that fuels moral panic. A critical theme intertwined with these representations is masculinity and power. In a society with complex gender dynamics, criminality is often a performance of hypermasculinity. This is a response to a historical, systematically emasculated black men by denying them economic and social power. The gangsters in Yizo and Jerusalema perform a brutal, dominant masculinity to command respect and power in a world that offers them little else. Their authority is asserted through violence and control, a twisted inversion of the power they are denied in the legitimate economy. This link between criminality and performed masculinity is a desperate attempt to reclaim agency in a post-apartheid landscape that has yet to deliver full economic liberation. Furthermore, these stories often present localized forms of crime that challenge global narratives. While Jerusalema uses the global language of the gangster film, its central crime, which is building hijackings, is uniquely South African. It is a crime born from specific historical conditions of urban migration, housing inequality, and land dispossession. This reflects Super's observation of how crime patterns shifted as apartheid spatial laws were repealed, and likely offenders could no longer be kept away from likely victims. The criminal entrepreneur in these stories is not a mafia don, but a local figure navigating a very specific set of post-apartheid realities. In conclusion, South African's films and series offer a nuanced and critical portrait of crime that is deeply engaged with the nation's social fabric. They move beyond simple condemnation to explore the systemic roots of criminal behavior, directly engaging with the post-apartheid context. They grapple with the spectacle of violence, often glamorizing it to attract audiences while simultaneously revealing its devastating human cost. These representations both contribute and critique the moral panic surrounding crime. They intricately tie criminality to performances of masculinity in a society seeking new forms of power. Ultimately, these narratives insist that to understand the criminal, one must first understand South Africa itself. Thank you for watching.